Hey Google, turn off my alarm. We're here at the Garden Inn, South Point. Next time you see me, I will not be naked mole rat status. I'll be tan mole rat. I look like a Diglett. You know the Pokemon? Yeah, I'm gonna be looking like but one of the Diglets. Not all three, just one Diglett. So I'm gonna be going from naked mole rat status to Diglett. Alright, let's do this. Voila. So I'm officially tan. They're gonna hit all of this again tomorrow and try to get me even tanner tomorrow. This is also gonna get darker as we go, and they need to even some stuff out, but this is the closest I've been to having a stage physique now. And I see why they tan you, because it's crazy how much better I look with the tan than being a naked mole rat. So how am I going to get my extra carbs and my extra fats? This is just mayo. It's actually just sriracha mayo. I love the taste of this, and it's just, you got 10 grams of fat per tablespoon. So I'm gonna put 3 tablespoons. I said 20 grams, then I actually have 30 grams. I forgot I had an extra gram, or extra 10 grams. And this is 340 grams of rice, about 2.15 ounces, I think is what I calculated out. And it gives me about 80 grams of carbs. And I'm pumped. What's up, everybody? It is currently about 7:10 in the morning. I just woke up and I feel like poop. I'll be honest with you guys. I couldn't fall asleep last night. I had a migraine from traveling all day and everything in between. Luckily, my dad came in clutch with some Tylenol. Ibuprofen you want to avoid though, because it does cause some water retention. I figured out that I didn't get high carb load, so I started high carb loading because I was really flat. And you can already see that my veins are kind of relaxed again because I was sleeping. So what do I need to do? I need to get some hydration in me. I need to get some carbs in me. I need to get some salts in me. I'm going to have one meal now, which is about 24 grams of salts or carbs, and 24 grams of carbs and 8 grams of protein. The protein's not as important right now. And then about 440 milligrams of 1/4 teaspoon of salt on top. With that, I'm going to have coffee. I'm going to have my coffee and a stool softener. Help clean everything out. Alright, let's get at it. I want to talk about something really quick. So this is my number, 18. In the Jewish religion, in the Jewish language, there's or Yiddish, there's a phrase called b'sheret, means meant to be. 18 in the Jewish religion is probably the most significant number there is. 18 means chai in life, and chai, it's like I said, it's the most significant number you'll probably find in Hebrew. I didn't choose this number. They assigned it to me. I'm not somebody who's a big believer in numerology or significance of fate or anything like that, but I think this is b'sheret.
From Baltimore, Maryland, he's a critical care paramedic and has been training for 12 years at Exile Fitness.
So there it is, 12 years of physique building and 4 months of diligent prep. And that is the package that I brought to stage. I came into the prep with the goals of first place open, first place novice, and overall best posing. I ended up placing second place novice, third open, and I did not get overall best posing. I was happy with placing like I did, even though I didn't meet my goals. Physically, I met my goals for the most part. I came in my prep with about 12% body fat, and I wanted to hit 6%. And I considered that a pretty decent reach for a 14-week prep. I ended up coming in at 5% body fat. So I was incredibly happy with how lean I was. Unfortunately, I didn't peak showtime. I peaked post-show day. My competition was Saturday. I went out Saturday night, had a couple alcoholic drinks with a big burger and fries. The next day I got up on my drive home. I stopped at Sheetz. Amazing. I had a bunch of protein bars that were the 1 bars. Not that they're very carb heavy because they're mostly alcohol sugars, but and then I got home, and when I got home I had I stopped at Dunkin' Donuts, got a large coffee with full cream and sugar mocha. It's my favorite. It's so good. And then I went to the gym, and you can see how full I am, how engorged I am, and my muscles and my veins are just popping. So that's good to know. I need to take that in consideration for future competitions. It's unfortunate, but would it have changed my placements? I don't believe it would. The person that beat me out for first place in novice also beat me out for second place in open. And I was also leaner than him, but he had a very nice genetic X-frame and a ton of density, muscle density. He just had just a ton more muscle mass than I did. Same thing with first place for open. The guy that won the pro card was incredibly lean, just as lean as me, maybe even a little bit leaner, and had, easily 10 pounds of pure muscle mass on top of me. Easy. He deserved first place. I'm not ashamed to lose to him. But yeah, I did learn a lot about how my body responds to carbs. This was the first time I'd ever done any sort of carb manipulation or sodium manipulation because it was my first contest. So I peaked the day after, and one thing I realized and learned is that it takes a good almost 2 full days for my body to really fill out and respond to carbs, high carbs, and I'm talking like 2 to 2.5 multiplier of your normal carb load. I have a very hard time spilling over. I don't think I even truly spilled over for days after my competition. And that's good to know, which means that for future competitions, I'm going to have to really start carb loading early and carb loading well. Overall, though, I was happy with how my prep went. I didn't have a coach. I did this myself. I based and wrote my prep protocols purely out of empirical data. I mainly based it out of a NIH meta-analysis on 216 studies on natural bodybuilders during prep. So this was real science-based fitness protocols that I wrote for my prep, and my body responded fantastically. I mean, you can see the very consistent drop in weight over the 4 months that I was prepping. I really didn't start plateauing until like 9-10 weeks into prep, which is very abnormal for most people. Most people kind of every 2 to 4 weeks start to plateau a little bit. I only had to drop carbs out by 10 grams once during prep, and that was I think 3 weeks out. And as far as my peak week protocols, I took that, manipulated a little bit, but mainly from a book called The Contest Prep Book, written by Lane Norton. I'll link that below because it's a fantastic book. It just has such valuable material. And it's written by a guy with his PhD, and the book's written also out of empirical data, which is really important. It cuts out the bro science. And the peak week protocols, being a paramedic, a lot of peak week protocols are very unhealthy and not actually truly effective for the risk that you're causing your body, with doing potassium manipulation, sodium manipulation, and water manipulation all mixed together. It's really, really bad, and that's not how biology works. This peak week protocol was written out of science, and it was safe. It was actually safe on the body. It had the proper effects. Overall in prep, I felt fantastic, comparatively to how a lot of people do during prep. Like I said, I had a few moments towards the last few weeks where my body was really hurting, especially once I took out some last minute carbs. But overall, I felt pretty good. And I think this comes from being a college wrestler and being so used to quicker and more aggressive cuts. I was used to having, dropping a few pounds in a couple of days to make weight, and all this really unsafe methods. So doing it in a healthy and more regimented fashion over a longer time period was not uncomfortable for me. There were times, like I said, that I felt really rough towards the end. Some of that actually had to do with pollen. Some people are affected in a non-allergic fashion. It's non-histemic ways to pollen, but it actually affects their neurology, affects their mental health. When pollen got really bad towards the end of my prep, I felt horrible, and I thought it was the prep, and I actually started treating, taking the meds I have for allergies and inflammatory responses, and I felt immediately better. So it wasn't even the prep that was making me feel worse. I guess it was just everything else going on. Maybe the prep made me a little less able to compensate for some of those things going on, but all in all, I was very happy with how prep went. So going forward, my plan is to reverse diet into a maintenance, then into a controlled surplus, as well as then going ahead and once in that surplus, having a program that I'm going to write specific for just absolute hypertrophy, trying to build as much muscle as possible. Because like I said, the reason I think I did lose was because I just wasn't as dense. They were way denser than me, both of them. So that's my goal for the next 9 months is pure hypertrophy, as well as staying lean. That's the whole point of the reverse diet. I don't want to break 8-9% body fat. That's my plan moving forward. Stay lean, reverse diet to a surplus, just build muscle. I'm trying to get as thick with as many C's at the end of that word as possible. And then at 9 months, I'm going to then start prepping again, which will be January, about the same time I started prep this year, and get down to as cut as I was before, if not more cut, 5% or below. Have my peak week protocols manipulated to how my body responds to carbs, make sure I get the carbs in, and go ahead and participate in probably about 2 to 4 competitions from March to May. I would like to do only pro qualifiers for Classic Physique, because I'm hoping to get next year my pro card. So that's the goal. Get thick, stay lean, compete again in 2 to 4 competitions between March and May, and get that pro card. So that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out my experience in my first competition as a Classic Physique bodybuilder. If you like what you saw, be sure to check out the other videos. There's a ton of different type of content that I plan to cover on this channel, and I'm really excited to kick it off. All right, thanks everybody. Let's get it.